The first time it happened, he lost a toenail. The second time, it burned off his eyebrows and knocked him unconscious. The third time, it set his hair on fire. By the seventh time, he just picked himself up, beat away a bear that was trying to steal his fish, and drove himself to the hospital. This is the true story of the most lightning-struck human being who ever lived. Roy Cleveland Sullivan was a park ranger at Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. A quiet, steady man who spent his days walking the Blue Ridge Mountains, one of the most beautiful wilderness areas in the United States. He was also, for reasons that science has never fully explained, a living lightning magnet. It started in April 1942. Sullivan was working a shift at the park when a storm rolled in. He took shelter in a fire lookout tower, the obvious choice, the safe choice. Except this particular tower had no lightning rod installed. The tower was struck repeatedly. A fire broke out. Sullivan ran for it, sprinted away from the tower as fast as he could. He made it approximately 3 feet. A bolt of lightning came down and hit him directly, burning a strip down his right leg and destroying the nail on his big toe. When it exited his body, it left a hole clean through his shoe. He survived. He went back to work. He assumed it was a freak accident, the kind of thing that happens once in a lifetime and never again. He was wrong. Before we go further, if you're finding this story as extraordinary as I do, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We find these incredible true stories every single day, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. 27 years passed. Sullivan probably started to believe that lightning had forgotten about him. In July 1969, he was driving his truck along a mountain road when lightning struck 2 trees near the road simultaneously. The bolt jumped between the trees, and Sullivan, driving through that exact spot with both windows open, was directly in its path. It knocked him unconscious, burned off his eyebrows completely, destroyed his wristwatch. When he came to, he was still in his truck, still on the mountain road, alone. That was strike 2. 1 year later, in July 1970, Sullivan was standing in his own garden, his own property, not even at work, when lightning hit a nearby power transformer and jumped directly to him. It burned his left shoulder and knocked him clean off his feet. Strike 3. By this point, people around Sullivan were starting to talk. Rangers at the park gave him a nickname. They called him the Spark Ranger. Some of his colleagues began refusing to stand near him during storms. The local community started to whisper that something was different about this man. Sullivan himself started to wonder. In April 1972, he was working inside his ranger station, indoors with a roof over his head, when lightning struck the station and hit him anyway. It set his hair on fire. Sullivan grabbed a wet towel and beat his own head until the flames went out. Strike 4, August 1973. Sullivan was driving through the park when he spotted a storm cloud ahead. By now, he had developed a specific fear, not of storms in general, but of this cloud. He described it later as a cloud that seemed to be following him. He tried to outrun it. He couldn't. Lightning hit him, set his hair on fire again, burned both his legs. He used the same wet towel technique. He had started keeping one in the truck specifically for this purpose. Strike 5. June 5th, 1976. Sullivan was walking in the park when he saw another storm coming. He ran. He later told reporters that he genuinely believed the cloud was tracking him, moving when he moved, following when he changed direction. Lightning hit him anyway, injured his ankle, burned his hair. Again, strike 6. By now, Roy Sullivan held a record that no human being had ever held before. 6 lightning strikes survived. The Guinness Book of World Records took notice. Scientists tried to explain it. No satisfying explanation was ever found. Some pointed to his years of outdoor work, his exposure to mountain weather patterns. Others simply had no answer. And then came June 25th, 1977. Sullivan was fishing alone at a pond in the park. A storm rolled in. He looked up at the clouds. The bolt hit him before he could move. It set his hair on fire for the 3rd time. It burned his chest and his stomach. He collapsed on the bank of the pond, dazed, smoking, in pain. And then a black bear emerged from the tree line. It walked directly toward him. It reached down and grabbed the trout he had just caught off his fishing line. Roy Sullivan, a man who had just been struck by lightning for the seventh time, picked up a stick and beat the bear away. Then he drove himself to the hospital. Strike 7. The last one. The record that still stands today, the most lightning strikes survived by any human being in recorded history. Sullivan was officially recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records in 1977. He became famous, interviewed by newspapers and television crews, studied by scientists, visited by the curious. He kept the ranger hats that lightning had burned holes through. He kept them as souvenirs. He also kept the wet towel in his truck. Roy Sullivan survived 7 lightning strikes over 35 years. Each one should have killed him. Each one left its mark, scars on his skin, burns on his body, damage that any normal person would have struggled to survive once, let alone 7 times. The odds of being struck by lightning once in an average lifetime are roughly 1 in 15,000. The odds of being struck 7 times and surviving all 7 are so astronomically small that mathematicians struggle to calculate a meaningful number. Roy Sullivan did not just survive the impossible, he survived it 7 times. And after the 7th strike, after fighting off a bear with a stick while still on fire, he got in his truck and drove to the hospital because that was just the kind of man he was. He died in 1983 at the age of 71. Not from lightning, he had defeated lightning 7 times. In the end, what broke him was something far less dramatic and far more human. He remains in the Guinness Book of World Records to this day, the Spark Ranger, the human lightning rod, the man who looked at the most powerful force in nature 7 separate times and refused to die. Drop a comment below. Do you think something about Roy Sullivan actually attracted lightning? Or was it just the most extraordinary run of bad luck in human history? We cover the most mind-blowing true stories from around the world every single week. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because you will not want to miss what is coming next. See you in the next one.